Morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the world. I hope you've had a sacred day, and I hope that you are enjoying the sacred pause meditations. So, in your own personal way, just open sacred space. Many of you know how to open sacred space officially, but I assure you, for those of you that don't know, it is about intention. Today I had the honour of walking in the countryside, of sitting on an old stone wall that had fallen down and looking out over the reservoir, which, because of the rain we've had over the last few days, is now full again, replenished. And I created sacred space for myself whilst I was sat overlooking the water, watching the fishermen, listening to the birds. So we can create sacred space anywhere. My car is full of sacred space. My car is in a beautiful bubble of white light, sometimes violet. So you have at your disposal all the energies of the universe to help and to assist you. So in your own time, just open sacred space. Pay attention to your breath. And it's always worth remembering, even for the most experienced meditators, that we must ground. So what I want you to do is imagine you've got roots growing down from your feet. And imagine those roots growing down into Mother Earth, into our Mother, into the planet that sustains us. Those roots grow easily through the soil, maybe past some bedrock, maybe through a bed of clay, maybe into an underground waterfall or an underground stream, passing utility pipes, utility cables, but anchoring right down into the earth. And those roots are your anchors. Just as we would never build a house on sand, we would always build a house on a firm foundation. Maybe with rock, hardcore concrete. So I want you to pay attention to your rootedness. Because the one thing that we can always be sure of is change. And of course, death is a change. And the more we can accept change, the more we actually can accept changes within ourselves. And as I sit watching the rain has created a change. When the sun was out before, the leaves on the trees and the grass in the field looked more green. And yet, as I remember back to 2 or 3 weeks ago, when the reservoir water was so low, especially in England for the beginning of the summer, that it could have been that there was a warning of drought. So the rain brings relief, it brings new growth, rejuvenation, regeneration. Of course, Mother Earth is very clever. Mother Earth is 8% water, and so it's no surprise that our physical bodies are made of 8% water. And I often wonder if we cleaned up the water on the planet, if the world would be a better place. Many of you will know about the memory of water, and of course water holds many, many, many memories. So just tune in to the water in your body, because we are all connected. Be it through the water, through the DNA, through our soul connection, through our planetary connection. And as you become aware of the water in your body, just become aware and fill it with love. You don't need to know about anatomy and physiology. You don't need to know where all the veins and the arteries are. But allow your body to fill with love as we enter into this, what will hopefully be a very deep meditation. I'm just going to leave you for a few moments to think about love. Think about how important it is to you. Love is all there is. And fill all the water in your body with love. Let every single cell in your body be filled with love and loving kindness. And just breathe the energy in and breathe out. Just breathe the energy in and breathe out. Breathe the energy in and breathe out. Now just rest in that space, in a space of love and loving kindness, of connectedness. And I'll come back to you in a few moments. And the planets are always spinning. And time is always moving, even though we do know that time is not linear. And water is always being pumped in our blood. Life is ever changing. And as the planets align, the planets bring their own changes. Saturn has an energy all of its own, as does Mercury, Pluto. When we understand that the wheel of life, the cycle of life, is constant, it brings us acceptance of all things. And every planet has its own shadow. Every planet has its dark side, because whichever angle we are looking at it from is with the light. And it's so important for us to acknowledge the dark side as well as the light side, the yin and the yang, the perfect balance. We all have a light side. We all have a dark side. Our dark side can be our pain. But from our pain comes our greatest understanding if we honour it with loving kindness and patience. When we acknowledge the dark side of ourselves, then we can welcome it as part of the light. When we are willing to go into the darkness, into the unknown, which does take much courage and trust, then our life begins to change exponentially. Not one of us on this planet can be positive 100% of the time. It is the journey, not the destination. And the journey will take us sometimes into our darkness so that we can come back again, maybe enlightened, maybe wiser through experience. But by entering into the darkness, we certainly do become reshaped, reformed, and changed. So just as the planets are always spinning around in orbit, in perfect harmony, in perfect synchronicity, in perfect alignment with acceptance of all things, let's allow ourselves to accept ourselves right now, in this moment, because in this moment is all we've got anyway. I want you to think about all the times you have had the courage to face your darkness, to face your hurt, your pain, to face who you really are. Please take time to reflect after this meditation. All things can be transcended. Namaste, my dear friends. Namaste. The peace of eye.